And now, it's time for
What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
What happened, Simoni?
What Happened with Simoni Lawrence.
What happened? What happened? What's up, everybody? My name is Simoni Lawrence, and I'm about to tell you what happened. What happened was we got to clap it up for Hamilton Sports Group because they threw a beautiful party for the best NBA player in the world, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He brought the trophy out to the center of the field. The whole crowd went crazy, sellout crowd clapping it up for the hometown hero. Big love to him. And I tell you, this was a fun game to watch all the way into overtime. So first, I'm going to tell you what happened. But first, I got to tell you about a quick story. I'm walking through Caretaker, saying what's up to all my people. You know, everybody watch what happens. So they like, yo, we love what's happening and stuff. And then one of my buddies comes up to me and he says, hey, Sim, you give a shout out to the firefighters. You give a shout out to the lawyers, the CEOs, the doctors, the trashmen, the janitors, the builders, the electricians. But you don't give a shout out to the blind men. I was like, what? He's like, you got to give a shout out to your blind listeners. So I got to give a shout out to all my blind listeners, baby. I'm about to tell you what happened, and this is what happened. They came out hot as fish grease. They did a little play action, and then Rourke threw a back shoulder throw to McGinnis. This was one of those games where if you're a wide receiver, you are in love watching these catches. I could make a highlight tape out all these catches that happened today. Absolutely amazing. But this wasn't even the best catch, but it was a good enough catch to get them in field goal range and let them go up to 3-0. First quarter. And then Bo Levi has the ball, and they're just rushing the passer. Bo gets somebody knocked into him, and then somebody grabs him. He tries to get it out. It's later reviewed that it is a sack, and he got sacked on the play. We're not used to seeing Bo get sacked in the first quarter. We're like, what is going on? But then it looked like everything was going the wrong way. And then something ended up going the long way for a touchdown. Wooden got this punt return. And when I say it was beautiful blocking, I seen B. Cole hit somebody out of there. I seen a rookie hit somebody out of there. I seen so many BC players on the ground from beautiful blocking from the Hamilton Ticats. And then Wooden was able to put his foot in the ground. He got busy, and then he got into that end zone. Woo! Bringing it to 7-3. Took the momentum right back. But then we got to go to the 6 minutes and 35 mark in the first quarter with Nathan on this scramble. Nathan Rourke, this is who he was all game because Versa comes in, he blitzes, and he gets James Butler and just bullies him and puts his head into the ground like it was bad. And then, but Rourke was so elusive the whole game. He got out of there, he scrambled, he slid, and I was like, man, this kid's elusive. And he did good enough to get them in field goal range. And then they end up bringing the game into 1 point, making it to 7-6. And then, man, Wooden just took one to the house. And he ended up, this isn't the worst thing that even happened on the play. The fumble wasn't even the worst thing because he ends up getting seriously hurt. As you look onto the play, he tries to grab. He's trying his hardest to go grab that ball, back for his teammates. And the guy just lands on his arm. That thing looked, oh, man, from the booth where I was at calling, I was like, oh, man, he might just, he just might, be mad he fumbled the ball. But he was really trying to get that ball that was on the ground, and somebody ended up lying and put all their weight on his arm. Hopefully he's going to be good and come back quickly. And then the defense, they're swarming. They're getting sacks. They're hitting Rourke. Rourke is running for his life. He's slipping on the field. All kind of stuff is going on with Rourke, right? And then we got Tim White playing returner now. So remember, Tim White is now playing returner and wide receiver. He's playing a lot of football right now. So Tim White, he gets a return. His first return, looks like no step is lost. He gets in there, good return. And like these guys were going back and forth all first half, and then this is what really opened it up was when Jamal Peters was sticking Aiden Ebenhart, and he got a little off of the press man, and he was able to dip and dive his shoulders. This guy must play a lot of special teams because he used special teams technique on Jamal Peters, and Nathan Rourke threw a nice little pass, and he made the catch, and then they put him in even better striking distance on this one, and it was one of those plays where I think Peters, like, he drew him out to the line, but he didn't know that he thought he got enough jam on him so that he would have had enough time to turn or go, but that he misjudged it. And yeah, they got that one, and that one hurt us a lot because right after that they went to their big guy Couture. Oh man, this guy's Couture, he's a big boy, and this is pretty much similar. It's like he catches this ball, we miss a tackle, and then he just rumbles into the end zone, and that helped them go up 13-7 in the first half. So then I don't know what Coach Milanovich said to them boys or that offense in the first half, but woo, they came out smoking hot. I'm talking smoking hot. They come out, they look like a totally different offense. They throw the ball deep to Tim White. Tim White catches the ball, makes a guy miss. That's hard-hitting safety. Williams miss, and he turns it on. And I'll tell you guys this right here. If he wasn't handling all those kick return duties and it wasn't a short week and all kind of stuff, he would have took this to the house because I could see the monkey on his back. He was doing a lot of work, and if anybody can handle it, it's Tim White. And he was just such a dog with this because what he's doing is not normal. He's playing starting wide receiver where has a major role, and then he's also returning all of the kicks, and then he also comes out in half and gets them in striking business. And then our big tight end, we did a beautiful job sending them right up the field, and then it looks like the Mike linebacker. Oh, you already know you got to make sure the Mike knows his rules. You got to carry 3 on the vertical if you went 2, and then the Mike he thought about it a little too long. Giovanni was able to get a step on him. Touchdown! I love our offense because our offense always makes sure everybody understands football because there's certain rules on the defense that, like, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm going to make sure everybody understands the rules of football, whether that's 3 to the flat or 3 on the vertical, just make sure everybody's locked in and paying attention. But we caught them on that one, and that was such a beautiful play, and it put us up 14-13. But they came right back out. Now we lost our safety as well, so we got the young kid coming in, and they tried them right away. They threw a bomb to Aiden Eberhart. He's been having a game this game, and then they were able to get the ball to James Butler. We weren't even lined up on the play, and James Butler pretty much just walked into the end zone 20-14. This game looked like, whoa, it started getting exciting with all these deep catches and people running to the end zone. Tim White, Giovanni, all these beautiful catches. Kenny Lawler said, hello, you remember me? And he caught this pass. I don't know how he caught this pass, but this was such an immaculate catch. Like, holy moly, what a catch. He caught this ball on his fingertips. Like, and then the crazy thing about the whole thing was 21, take my number off, bro. And then I don't know who else it was. I got to remember. But there was 2 people on him, let's just say that. And none of them had their eyes on this guy. He got past both of these guys, right? And none of them had his eyes on the guy that both of you guys are supposed to be sticking. And he got behind them, caught it on his fingertips. What a beautiful catch by Kenny Lawler. And then right after that, Shamar Bridges, touchdown for our last year Rookie of the Year. He gets his first touchdown of the season, and that puts us up 21-20. Woo! We looking good, y'all. And then our rookie, baby, fresh off the streets, fresh off the sign. He was in camp with us. Hurrah! Recovers the fumble after the ball was punted. He gets the ball after they drop it. And we get on the ball. And I'm like, oh, man, we in striking distance. This is looking really good, baby. We looking really good at this point. And then Keandre, oh, my. He said, He said that BC game wasn't a fluke, y'all. I'm coming right back at y'all. He picks up where he left off with BC, because he did score the last touchdown in BC. So he going to make sure he let them know, hey, here go your reminder. Shout to the weekend. Touchdown, Keandre, baby. Good job by Keandre to get into the end zone. And then McGee, he just fumbled the ball. One thing you know about people that make mistakes in football games, they going to try extra hard to make up for that mistake. And McGee had a big return that got them into striking distance. And this turned into the quarterback show really fast after that return because Rourke had such an amazing run. Oh man, this run was immaculate. He made a couple people miss and then finally got tackled. And then Masoli snuck the ball into the end zone. Now the score is 28-28. I'm like, whoa! Where did this game turned into oh my goodness, this is gonna be a defensive game to whoa, what is going on? This turned into a shootout, baby. And look, I got to talk about the kicker battle because at 28-28, it turned into a kicker battle. It was kind of fun to watch, actually. It wasn't fun to watch because both of these guys held the longest streak, Sean White and Mark Leggio. But after today, they all lost it because they both missed field goals this game. All right, so now the kicking battle, it starts. Leggio, he misses one, but we still get the points, so it's 29-28. And then Sean White, he gets the one. He makes one, 31-29. And then we make one. Now it's 32-31. It went right off the goalpost. I was like, oh! I'm like, Leggio, next time you do that, just give your team the energy. Don't look sad. I know you're disappointed, but still clap it up. Be like, yeah, let's go, because everybody's watching you. That demeanor, it matters, you know what I mean? So just be like, let's go. Give it to your teammates. Y'all got 3 points. It don't matter how it went in. It went in. So let's get right. And then Julian. Interception. That boy Julian picked this pass off. It was so beautiful. Julian run like one of them old school fullbacks, ball high and tight, looked like he ready to stiff arm somebody. That was such a beautiful interception by Julian Howsare. He had a great game. That's my defensive player of the game right there. I'm going to tell y'all that now. He had a great game. Emos also had an efficient game, like the way Emos was playing as well. But then we find a way to get another field goal. So now it's 35-31. That's the battle of the kickers. They was going at it at that. I was like, whoa. Back and forth. Just show the kickers some love. Shout out to special teams. And then I call this the Rourke drive. Oh, my. I was like, this is why people get excited about Nathan Rourke, because of things like this, plays like this. Julian Howsare had a beautiful pass rush on the one, and then he got a little too on top of him, and he spelt that, and he spun out of that. He stiff-armed somebody, and then he threw the ball back across his body, which is a no-go but it was a dot, and I'm like, wow, what a football play. I was like, wow, what a football play. That was nice. And then we got him back against the rope. We up right now, y'all. And then he throws a dot right behind our linebacker because he had all the time in the world. And our linebacker just couldn't get there, and they got in striking distance. Now it's like, oh, my goodness, what's going on? And then they empty the backfield. They get the ball, and he's different levels. He gives a little pump, and then he finds the running back in the dead spot of the zone in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Pooh! That was the drive. That was the Nathan Rourke drive. Now they're up 38-35 with less than 50 seconds on the clock. I'm like, don't panic. I'm up there no need to panic because this is still plenty of time. I'm like, this is plenty of time. Don't worry about it. I knew it was going to go, but I didn't know it was going to go like this. Bridges with this catch. I was like, oh my, Shamar Bridges. Reminder, boy. He caught that pass. That was such a beautiful catch. I told you it was a bunch of beautiful catches in this game. And he put them in field goal range, and Mark Leggio comes out, and he kicks it through 38-38. We got overtime, baby. We got overtime. But in overtime, it just didn't go our way. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Y'all want me to tell y'all the truth? I'm going to tell y'all what happened. We fumbled the football, right? And he was trying to fight for extra yardage, but we can't even blame Tim White because there's a lot of things that went on in this game. My job isn't to make excuses for the players. My job is to tell you what happened, and you can make a hypothesis. If y'all don't know what that means like educated guess. You know what I'm saying? Tim White gets this ball, fumbles the ball. BC ends up kicking the ball. They win the game, But at the end of the day, Tim White, we got to give it up for him. Because what he did, nobody but him could do on that football team. We lost our star returner. Let me tell you what happens when you lose your star returner. Somebody has to go do the job and do it efficiently. Who can do the job and do it efficiently? Tim White, and he just so happens to be our starting wide receiver. And let me just tell you guys this. So he had five returns. He had 5 catches for 84 yards. He had four returns for 89 yards on kick returns, four for 89 yards, and then he had 3 punt returns for 37 yards. That's a total of, I see 21 in there. That's a total of like 210 yards of total production from Tim White alone, let alone the routes he has to run that he doesn't catch the ball, the blocks that he has to get. He played the Iron Man football game. He still has to understand he needs to hold on to that ball at the end of the game. I know you want to fight for extra yards because you are built different. You want to get that extra yards and win the game for your team. Like, that's why we love Tim White here. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to be the absolute best. But sometimes you got to know when to hold him and fold him. And you just got to go on the ground and live to see another day, especially in that circumstance. But that wasn't the reason the game was lost. This was one of those games where it's like the consistency of what normally happens just didn't happen. Like, normally, like, we won't be tackling good. Like, we'll give up some plays, but our defense always makes a play at the end or a turnover. Like last week, Casatonis made the turnover, and this week it was Julian that made the turnover. And it was just one of those things where it just didn't go our way. And that's why we got to get back into the fundamentals. This game is going to reset us and make sure we get back into the fundamentals of tackling, So it's going to be one of those type of weeks and get ready to play Saskatchewan, who's the number 1 football team in the Canadian Football League. It's going to be a slugfest. Hopefully we get some of our guys back. We're praying for Stavros Casatonis. We got Wooden, Jamal Peters went down for a little bit. Hope he's good. At the end of the day, we got to stay solid. I got to give a shout out to Amos. That's my unsung hero player of the game. I love the way Amos been playing. He's so consistent. Everything he does is fluid. I was watching this one play where he had man on man, no help, and he did a pro spin turn, batted the ball down. There was one that I thought that he should have had the interception on, but he's been consistent, good. And then, Bo Levi, oh man, come on, another 300-yard game, no turnovers, 3 touchdowns. Bo's on fire. He's still doing what he's supposed to be doing. And, defensive player goes to Julian. Julian had a good day. He had a sack and an interception that I thought should have won the game, but it just didn't happen this week. You know what I mean? But we're going to keep cheering these boys on because they're still on fire. And, what a great night in Hamilton last night. We just lost by whatever in overtime, but, it's always time to get them back. And that's what happened. My name is Simoni Lawrence.
And now you know what happened with Simoni Lawrence.